This week I wanted to talk to you about a topic that I think we all struggle with, overcoming stress eating and overcoming emotional eating. They kind of go hand in hand. It can be difficult and you're having a hard time and then you just eat everything in your pantry and you feel super guilty and that you ruined your diet and there's just no coming back from that, and then it's just that downward spiral and you kind of fall off the bandwagon. So I wanted to talk to you guys about ways to counteract that, some tips and some tools. So first off, I always like to give you scientific information to maybe help you along when you're in that current situation. So you should know that when your body is stressed, when you're under stress, it's part of your fight or flight response, or when you're feeling super emotional and really down and depressed, your body actually secretes a hormone called ghrelin, which makes you hungry, okay? So you're not losing it, you're not crazy. If you are feeling stressed, if the mortgage is due and you don't have enough money in your bank account, or your kid got kicked out of their preschool and the whole town hates you, whatever it is, whatever you're feeling, your body is likely to secrete ghrelin, which is going to make you hungry. So this is a feeling that you're actually having, all right? So another thing is that cortisol, which is the stress hormone, actually decreases when you eat high fat or high sugary snacks. So, and when you do have those, just like we talked about a couple weeks ago, those brain receptors go off in your brain when you're eating those sugary snacks that are making you feel good for a moment, so to say. So when you actually do overindulge and you have that entire bag of Dove chocolates, your cortisol levels will go down for a little bit and you're secreting those happy feelings going on in your brain. So you're actually feeling a little bit better when you do overindulge, but that only lasts for a little bit. So let's talk about like ways that we can stop the stress eating, stop the emotional eating altogether, so that we don't just ruin our diet for weeks at a time. Okay, so first, get to the root of the cause. So a lot of us have tons of stress in our life. It can become overwhelming. You can feel like you're just never gonna get out of the situation you're in. Something terrible could have happened in your family. Maybe you lost a loved one. You need to grieve. So I always highly recommend therapy. Psychology is a huge aspect of all of what we're trying to do. We can't make the rest of this right if we're not right up here. I myself have gone to therapy many times to work through different situations, to work through certain losses. I recommend it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Admit that you need to talk to somebody, you gotta work through some stuff. Getting to the root of the problem, of course, will help with the stress and help with the emotional situation that you have, and hopefully prevent the overeating or the binge eating, so to say. If it's just like your everyday stress and therapy is not something you really need, there's a couple little things that you can do. First, have a vent buddy. Everybody needs to vent sometimes. I have a vent buddy, and when something's going on in my life, I just tell her, okay, I need a vent session, and it's no judgment type of session. I can just spew out everything that I'm feeling, take it all out, and she kind of just nods it. Man, it kind of just feeds me the emotions that I'm having, and then usually I could take a deep breath after. It felt really good to get it out, and then I can move on to the next thing. She does the same thing for me. I'm her vent buddy. When something's wrong, quick phone call, let it all out, okay? Just let it out, have that vent buddy, have that agreement that if you ever need that vent session, you need to just talk to somebody real quick with no judgment whatsoever. Make sure you set yourself up with a vent buddy. Number 2, write it down and throw it out, okay? So you're super pissed at your boss for calling you out in that meeting in front of all the other workers in your business or your company. So embarrassing, you're mortified. And you want to tell him that. Obviously, you can't tell him that. Write it down, okay? Get a notepad, get a piece of paper, get a pen, and just scratch all over that notepad, curse at him, scream at him, write it all down. Take a deep breath, rip it up, throw it out. No one has to know about it. It's another way of just venting, getting it out, feeling those emotions and getting rid of them. Next one. Sounds really simple and really silly, but I highly recommend it. It's really one that works great for me. Go for a walk. Nature is amazing. Get some endorphins going when you're moving around. Deep breaths, some fresh air, the greenery around you, the trees blowing in the wind. being present and being mindful, just taking a deep breath, leave your phone back at the house. Sometimes I know that's not always the safest thing to do. Hopefully we live in a safe neighborhood where you can just leave your phone behind you and go for a little walk and just take it all in. Another thing, eat whatever you're going to eat. So ideally, hopefully we're trying not to overeat or make bad choices. Eat your dinner, so to say. Usually we're most stressed or emotional at the end of the day. Eat whatever that is, sitting at the dinner table, and be present and aware. So again, put away the phone, maybe sit with your family, be present, be mindful, how your food is tasting, how your kid did in school today. A lot of times when we're just so angry, we're just not even thinking about how much we're eating or how good or bad it actually tastes. We're scrolling along and we're not really feeling those emotions and recognizing all the awesome stuff that we have around us. So sit at the dinner table, eat your food, recognize what you're eating, how it tastes, how it feels, all the great things going on around you, and then try to move on from there. Recognize your food triggers. So a lot of us, we have a trigger, something that sets us off, or a situation. I mean, a lot of our life is habit. I wake up in the morning and no stress, no emotion or anything, but first thing I do is I walk to the coffee machine and I make myself a coffee in the Keurig. Okay, so a lot of it is habit. So if part of your emotional and your stress eating is habit, try to have a journal. Set yourself up with a real quick journal and recognize the moods you're feeling or your emotions while you're eating certain foods. Hopefully then you might be able to recognize your triggers, no matter what's going on in your life, but figure out what that thing is, what triggers you to eat these bad foods, and then let's see how we can go about fixing it. Two more things. Eliminate mindless eating. So a lot of us will bring the pint of ice cream and the spoon into the living room to sit and watch TV, okay? That's mindless eating. It feels good while it's going down. You're paying attention to the TV. You had such a bad day and all of a sudden the whole pint is gone, all right? A lot of people have like bowls of candy or big jars of pretzels in the sitting area where people are hanging out. Eliminate the mindless eating. If you're going to have something, measure it out and bring it to where you are going to sit and have your treat, so to say. But like I said, if you can, try to eat at the table and be mindful and be focused, okay? So no mindless eating. Last thing, another one you've heard probably a million times, but don't keep your trigger foods in the house. So if chocolate is your go-to when you had a really long day with your kindergarten class, and you like to come home and eat some Dove chocolates, okay? Don't keep the Dove chocolates in the house. I know some of you, it can be really hard because we have kids and there's Pop-Tarts and snacks and all that kind of stuff, but try to fill your pantry with snacks and things that maybe you have no interest in, or even if you were to overindulge in them, it won't make or break your diet. So for example, Skinny Pop, whole entire humongous bag, I think has like 400 calories in it. You'd probably be so sick if you ate the giant box or bag of Skinny Pop popcorn. You're likely not to finish it, but even if you did, it's not thousands of calories that is going to totally ruin all the hard work that you did. All right, so overcoming stress and emotional eating, real quick recap, get to the root of the cause, have a vent buddy, write it down and throw it out, go out for a walk, be mindful sitting, eating your food at the table, recognizing your food triggers and your moods with a food journal, eliminate mindless eating completely, measure out your food, and avoid trigger foods being in the house. All right, we're all gonna have our moments, we're all human, but there's some tips so that we can stop making this a pattern and we can really find balance in our life. I hope you guys have a great week. Let's kick some butt with these workouts. See ya.